Oh, man, good morning, man. Shit, I had to get up and make this video, man. I haven't been on all week, really, man. So, let me see something here, man. Maxie had 54 last night, huh? And the Texans, they beat the Bills. And I took the under, but I took the Bills. I felt like it was going to be a close game. I felt like, you know, Houston has, I think, the best defense in the league, if not the #1 defense, or one of the best, you know. So I figured it was going to be they want defense going to keep them in the game, and it's a home game for them. And Josh Allen, you know, he's, you know, they're 7-4 now, and you know they blew an opportunity right there. So it's looking like this year, it's going to be a little bit of a changing of the guard. That's what it's looking like, man. Let me go to ESPN on my own joint, man. You know what I'm saying? It's looking like it's going to be a change of the guard when it comes to, you know, the AFC playoff picture. So, you know, it's a lot of teams. You know, these media guys, they don't show a lot of these teams any respect, man. You know, the main topics be like Dallas Cowboys. They you know, definitely, you know, love the Chiefs. You know, they believe heavily in the Chiefs. You know, and you know, there's always a lot of hot takes, man. But we'll get back to that in a second. Josh Allen was sacked 8 times yesterday. And, you know, telling my coworker, man, you know, he thought it was going to be an easy win. And I keep trying to explain to him, you got to stop going with the popular narratives, man. I thought that they were going to win too, you know, but not always right. We're wrong. I didn't think LeBron was going to play a game this year, and I was wrong. You know, I could be wrong. You know, you always got to leave that possibility out there because we all human. You know, but he suited up. He's out there. He's, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's see how the Lakers look. But back to Josh Allen. And I explained to my boy, stop going with the popular narrative all the time. Like it's going to blow them out. I'm like, no, they have one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best. Well, I didn't know they defense. I just thought without the quarterback, without the quarterback, I didn't think they were going to win either without the quarterback, right? But I definitely thought they were going to stay in the game, keep it under 44 points. And I think what was the score? 23-19. So it was like had they would have won the game, I probably would have hit because I had it under 44. You know, but Josh Allen, as I'm watching the highlights, I see him throw a lot of picks. And got sacked several times. You know, so you know, not a good look for them. You got the Cowboys and Eagles. They act like this is a real big game. You know, they're really like, you know, these media guys, they're, you know, really like giving Dallas a real chance. Like, you know, they really believe every time Dak has a good game, it's usually against bad teams. And, you know, the glazing just doesn't stop, man. It's just like, you know, oh, is Dak the MVP? Then when he has a bad game against a good team, oh, you know, they got to do this better, that better. Like, come on, man. Which one is it, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I was reading a comment about it's the young girl Ashley Nicole Ross. I was on her Twitter page and I saw that Cam Newton, he made a comment. It's called the Patriots Fool's Gold. You know, I guess I didn't hear his explanation, but I'm more guessing he's looking at their resume and like, all right, they haven't really beaten any real. I think they did beat the Bills though, but you know, like I said, this the same thing they did with Denver, man. They didn't show Denver any respect either, and they had to beat the Chiefs. And you know, it's like, you know, these popular narratives, man. You know, because we've seen, you know, these like Josh Allen, he won the MVP last year, but he can't beat the Chiefs. The Bills can't beat the Chiefs in a playoff game. Which was kind of like the same thing with Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. He was still beating Patrick Mahomes when he counted. You know, and you know, like I said, the same thing with Denver. You know, showed Denver no respect. They didn't even have him in the playoff picture. In one of the I think it was the NFL Network. It's not just ESPN. It's all these networks. And it's like, speaking of that too, you got Stephen A. Smith. Oh, we're the #1 show. He's always throwing out these numbers, people's money, these numbers. Yo, nobody gives a fuck about if your show's #1. It's #1 in the morning. Don't get me wrong. It's a great show. You know, it is. You know, we're not gonna sit here and lie. But fan, you know, it's really the only thing on that's live that people, you know, can sit down and really watch. Sometimes people that watch sports, you know. But it is a great show. You've expanded your career from it, and you know, I'm happy for you to be successful, man. But you know, to keep throwing that shit in people's face, like, you know, everybody's numbers, their money, somebody's contract, or talk about your show #1. We know the show's #1. Ain't nothing else to watch in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's you know, you know what I mean? Like, nobody cares, man. You know what I mean? We here to, you know what I'm saying? Here we go with these opinions. We here to hear, you know, your opinions on the games. But to call a 9-2 team fool's gold, I mean, nobody thinks, we don't know if they're gonna win the Super Bowl because they weren't expected to be this good this fast. We definitely expected some improvements. But you know, just, you know, let's see what happens, man. You know, see, here we go, Get Up. Here we go with these guys. It's Hot Take City, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's see what happens with Denver. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are teams that are not really expected to do much, right? This year, you know, both of those teams were definitely improving last year, and they've improved more this year. That's coaching, and you know, and let's see what happens in the playoffs. You know, so if these teams make the playoffs, let's see what happens, man. That nigga hard, man. That nigga shaking and twitching, man. Josh Allen, man, like, yeah. Look, we go look. You see with Josh Allen, right? He's a great quarterback, but you got to use your running game. They don't have weapons around Josh Allen. I'm not going to sit here and blame him. Oh, let me get that. Is that a house call or nah? But, oh, he's still running. Oh, that was a house call. Oh, that block, man. Oh, he blocked him in the back. Pause. But Josh Allen, right? They give him so much praise. He's a great he's a great quarterback, great player, but they don't utilize enough weapons. He doesn't have the weapons, man. You know what I'm saying? Just don't have the weapons, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's his tight end? Like, who's his go-to receivers? Like, that are quality receivers. You know, so, you know. And, this is a great play right here. Look, Josh Allen, instead of throwing it away, he's running around trying to make a play. It's just, you know, you're relying on him too much, and it gets in his head that I have to make a play. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just too much, man, for him to overcome. They've got to get Josh Allen some weapons, man. Or, you know, he's going to have to find a way to make these guys, which is one of the differences of guys like Peyton Manning, Brady, Aaron Rodgers, when he was at his peaks. You know, Dan Marino, Montana. You know, these guys, you got to make your receivers, Drew Brees, like, make them great. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to make the players around you. Like, who's the slot receivers? Like, it almost worked, this play. Shit. But, you know, watching the highlights, I didn't see the game because I was working. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they got to get him some weapons. The Chiefs this weekend, or the Kansas City Chiefs, the Kansas City refs. Let me get that. He throws a pick at the end of the game. Josh Allen doing too much, man. He had the guy, but it was just a bad throw. I think he could have threw it over his head, and that was a touchdown, man. But what I was gonna say, man. Yeah, the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs versus the Colts, they win that game. That's a pivotal game for this season, 5-5, and they need that game. You know, defense will have to step up. They're gonna have to stop Jonathan Taylor, which is gonna be tough, man. That's gonna be tough. And you know, let's see what happens though. You know, I feel like you know, the Chiefs, they should get that game. And that will definitely help Denver and the Patriots. You know, but let's get the we'll get back to that in a second. We can go to the to boxing real quick, because I wanted to talk about boxing. So, Devin Haney versus Norman Jr. Tired, man. I'm about to go lay down in a second. It's a tough fight, man, to really judge, because I never really watched Norman Jr. I know he's got some power. He's a champion. He's undefeated. Devin Haney, we all seen him lose and get embarrassed by Ryan Garcia, and then get his 0 back with a lot of controversy and steroid usage or whatever, performance enhancement drug usage, whatever, you know. And the loss got taken off his record. But we've seen his flaws. The chin, being able to avoid the left hook, which is one of Norman Jr.'s best weapons. You know, Devin Haney, he's a smart fighter. He's going to go in there and try to take away that left hook. He should. I mean, you would think that he knew that against Ryan Garcia, that was his only weapon. He kept continuing to say that, and yet he got clipped. And when I watched the thing, he had his hand here. He was throwing a punch, and one of his hands was back here, but it wasn't here. And that hook would have been thrown, it would have hit right here or went behind him. He had his chin like this and clipped. He can't make that mistake. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow night, he gonna go to sleep. I think that Devin Haney, him going there trying to stand his ground is gonna be a mistake. You know, he's gonna make the fight more difficult for himself by going in there trying to stand toe to toe with Brian Norman. Now, I think that Devin Haney should, of course, he has a good jab. Use your jab. Use your movement. Try to, bait Brian Norman Jr. into walking into shots. Try to frustrate him. When you get inside, tie him up, go to his body. Just basic shit, like nothing spectacular that he needs to do to win this fight. But just execute a game plan, which is, I think, to me, is, box. You get inside, you work inside, get your work off and you tie him up. And you keep him, or you keep him, back with the jab, keep him at bay, keep him in range, and try to land 1-2s, circle, and I think towards late in the fight, when fighters start to wear down a little bit, you start standing your ground a little more, plant your feet a little more, try to land some harder shots. I mean, obviously in the first couple of rounds, you want to land something to gain some respect too, but you can't stand in front of a guy who's a power puncher and, you're susceptible to getting hit with hooks and your chin is not really, as shown that it can hold up. And you're going up in weight. So, let's see what happens. On the flip side with Brian Norman, you got to make this an ugly fight. You got to make this an ugly, like, dirty fight. I'll be trying to cut off the ring, work behind your jab as well, and use angles. Confuse Devin Haney, cut off the ring. Back him up. Even at times, I would try to make him come forward so he could run in the shots. Let him feel confident, but not too confident when he can start walking you down. But if I'm Brian Norman Jr., you can't get thirsty and walk into shots or get frustrated. I would use angles, cut off his ring, as he's going to circle. And I would attack his body early, make the fight rough, try to, make him wear down about 7-8 rounds, and then you start really unleashing on him if it goes that far. But standing in front of Haney and allowing him to get his jab off is going to be a mistake. Looking for one punch because he can't take a left hook. That's going to be a mistake too. If the hook is there, take it, obviously, but don't go in there just looking to land that left hook. I would go looking to land shots to the body, slow him down, cutting off the ring. I'm pretty sure they're all working on that anyway. Things like that. Then, and it's going to be a good fight, man, I think. I don't think it's going to end early. I think it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be some adversity for both of these fighters and adjustments. And being for a good fight is hard to pick, man, because, Brian Norman Jr. has power. Devin Haney has really yet to show to carry his power, or he doesn't really have much power, but, let's see what happens. Let's see if he has enough to keep Brian Norman off him. Then you have Anthony Yard and Benavidez. That's going to be a very entertaining fight. That's probably going to be the fight of the night. Or that Abdullah Mason, no, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. That's a big fight for Abdullah Mason because he can win a title. And that will catapult him, to headline, more cards if he has a spectacular performance tonight. I mean, not tonight, tomorrow. And I'm pretty sure that he can have a spectacular performance, man. He's just, don't get caught. You know what I'm saying? Like, try not to get clipped with something you don't see. With the Benavidez Yard fight, that might be the fight of the night. That's a pretty decent card, man. Those are 3 good fights. But yeah, that Anthony Yard's always showed us that he can, perform well under the lights and give a good fight, even though he hasn't, came out successful. He will give you an entertaining fight. He's gonna make you dip into that tank, man. And David Benavidez, he's not gonna run. He's coming forward, and he's looking to try to get his opponent out of there. That's an interesting fight, great fight. Let's see how Benavidez looks, because it's like almost like Anthony Yardy is becoming like a stepping stone for some of these fighters. Like, I don't like to say that about him, but this is like a test. If he can beat Anthony Yardy in good fashion, this is setting up a potential Bivol fight. So I picked Benavidez to win, possibly by stoppage or unanimous decision. I just feel like Yardy, he gasses out over time throughout the fight, and the way he fights gives a more talented opponent more opportunities to land shots, But I think early on in the fight, he's going to have success. Can Benavidez weather the storms? That's the key. Abdullah Mason, power, boxing skills. I would look for him to win this fight. But he can't get overconfident and just start winging away. Sometimes he likes those exchanges, and he can get clipped in that shit. And that's the main thing I'm fearing for him. Don't get clipped, man. Don't get into too many of these exchanges where you leaving yourself open to get clipped. Aside that, he should win this fight. Because once he hurts you, you getting up out of it. Now this basketball shit, man. Let's get the ball before I end this shit, man. So your man is back. The glazing has started again. Now I watched some shit where Paul Pierce says Kobe was never the face of the league. You out of your fucking mind? Then why just let this man rest in peace, man? Yo, like, what's wrong with these niggas, man? All of this shit, like, come on, you supposed to be against this dude, LeBron, like, and I've noticed that he's taking some shots at a lot of players, man. Taking shots at Jordan. I'm a better scorer. Like, I was a better scorer than Cole. Like, come on, cut it out, man. Y'all wasn't saying none of this shit when this man was alive, man. And he was the face of the. First of all, this face of the league shit, right? Is who the league really wants to prop up, man. You know what I'm saying? That shit really kind of. It's your face of the league is like your most popular player. Kobe, when they went overseas in the Olympics, was the most popular player by far. Like, the only thing that stopped Kobe from winning multiple MVPs, he was on a really bad team. Like somebody else said, who said Kobe couldn't carry bad teams? Somebody said Kobe couldn't really I forgot who said that shit, man. He couldn't carry bad teams, but he carried. Look at the roster he had that he won the championship with. That you take Kobe off that team and barely making the playoffs, if that. That's the same narrative that they used with Larry Bird. Or Larry Bird had a super team. He couldn't even get out the first round when he didn't play, man. Then they used the shit with Mike. Somebody said, oh, Mike he had the second best player in the league. When was Scottie Pippen the second best player in the league? He was nowhere better than Olajuwon. He wasn't better than Ewing. He wasn't better than Charles Barkley, Sean Kemp at one time. You know, David Robinson. What's wrong with y'all niggas, man? Clyde Drexler was still in the league. You out of your fucking mind, man? Reggie Miller was in the league. He had a great season. They still had pretty much the same team, championship team. And then what happened the next year after that? They started struggling. But he was never no second best player in the league. Where the fuck y'all get that from? I don't say it's that same narrative. Oh, but he had Scottie. He didn't win anything without Scottie. Scottie was there. But they was getting spanked by Detroit. Scottie was a role player in the beginning. Y'all act like Scottie just came in. I like how he's here. Harry Douglas giving us a chance and shit. Here we go with the glazing. Keep the same energy. But anyway, back to this Scottie Pippen shit and all second best player. Stop it, man. He was like it was too many great players in the league back then, man. Like, you gotta stop, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you had Chris Mull. Like, there was a lot of players way better than Scottie. Scottie was a great player, but he was more not a facilitator, but more of a floor general and more of a defensive stopper. It wasn't really a great scorer. So I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so many players that were better than Scottie, but the way they ran that team was a defensive team. You know, but he was a great player. Back then, niggas was arguing like how he get in the top 50. If you're old enough to remember that. He was they put him in the top 50, and niggas was like, nah, he don't belong there. Not over no Bernard King or no Dominique Wilkins and none of them niggas. Like, this is what was sad back then. Colts not beating the Chiefs on Sunday. I don't think the Chiefs need that game bad, man. But if they win that game, woo, that's gonna be the end of the Chiefs for real. They could put a nail in the coffin to the Chiefs winning that game in Arrowhead. But anyway, back to this Kobe shit too, because we gotta get the like, how was Kobe not the face of the league from 2007 to at least 2011? Kobe definitely was the face of the league. Anything other than that, you could question, right? You can question him with Shaq. He wasn't the face of the league when Shaq was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, the faces of the league back at that particular time was like, after Jordan left, was mainly like you had Iverson, Shaq, Duncan. Everybody else was like, you know, you had Jason Kidd, but he wasn't really the face of the league. But you know, like, and then Tracy McGrady, he came on like the mid to the mid 2000s. Like, he started to emerge like 2002, 2003. Actually, yeah, like 2000, yeah, like around that time, like, because he was playing with Vince Carter. And, you know, so once he went to Orlando and then he went to Houston, that's when he was at his peak. And it was that's when it was like, you know, Shaq was starting to decline. Iverson was like, you know, on a, you know, he never really elevated nor, you know what I'm saying, like, his status like that. So, you know, Iverson had a chance to be the face of the league, and you had Kobe. It wasn't really no face. You know what I'm saying? Like it was because Kobe was still playing with Shaq, obviously. You know, and then, you know, once Kobe, you know, they were making the playoffs. You know, Kobe had his shot, but you know, when he got his shot, he's coming off of the R-word allegations and all this stuff. He's trying to get past that, and you know, then he's on a really bad team. They almost tanked the team damn near when they traded Shaq. So if you're not putting context into nothing, just like they said, well, Kobe didn't win a playoff game after 33. LeBron got there at 32 years old, but Kobe was in the playoff. Like Kobe was getting that team to the playoffs. You got to look at the West, number one, right? Let's put some context to it. The teams that Kobe was beating for the championship was sending LeBron home, right? He was playing a lot of those teams in the first round, second round. Like, so it wasn't an easy task getting out of the West. The man beat more 50-win teams than anybody else. But we forget about that, right? Everything is always convenient when they want to talk about guys like Kobe and Mike to prop up this guy, LeBron. Everything I be saying, the majority of the stuff I say about him, it always comes out later. When we go on the basketball court, who do we say we want to be like? Mike. Nobody says, let's do LeBron. What move he got that we gonna do? What skill set am I gonna learn? Look at his son, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Del Curry's son, Stephen Curry. Marksman. Del Curry was a marksman. His son is even better than him at the same thing. Your son should excel. Our son is worse, man. Like, if Michael Jordan's sons wasn't that good, they ain't playing. He's not gonna listen. Y'all not gonna go out there and ball. Y'all niggas ain't good enough to be out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the rest of these guys whose sons, you know, all their sons are better than Bronny. But you know what I'm saying? Some of them are good, some of them aren't that good. But you know, if you're like see, Shaq's son, is impossible to duplicate a Shaq, because Shaq was a physical phenom. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost impossible to duplicate LeBron as well, because he's a physical phenom. But at the same time, he plays the game differently, more athletically than Shaq. Shaq is more physical, bruising. You know, Shaq could put it on the floor and do some things, but that wasn't his game. His game is more, I'm a bruise and batter you, man. Pause. LeBron is more of a slasher, attacking the rim. You know what I'm saying? He's 6'9". He can play pretty much 1 through 4, sometimes 5, depending on the matchup. You know, LeBron is a versatile player. So that's more physical than it is skill set. Like, he is, don't get me wrong, he has some skill, but it's more physical. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more athletic. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, you're not learning nothing from LeBron's game. But back to, you know, this face of the league shit. When LeBron came in the league, you know, he was the prop that they wanted. They didn't really, you know, Kobe, another thing with Kobe, he didn't kiss up to the media. The media wasn't his favorite. They weren't his favorite fan base. So he never got the credit that, you know, because when Mike was doing all this shit, scoring 35 and all that, he wasn't really winning MVPs like that either. He was winning them, but, you know, you still had Magic and Bird in the league. But Mike was, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, Mike didn't really have no help. And he was carrying his teams to the playoffs. Kobe was carrying them to the playoffs after the first year. They had knocked Kobe because they didn't make the playoffs the first year. They didn't have anybody. He went through like 3 coaches. You know what I'm saying? He had Rudy Tomjanovich, came from Houston, and then he ended up retiring. Then they didn't have a coach. You know what I'm saying? Like the one thing I give LeBron, you know, when he was on top of his game, he didn't need a good coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had good coaches, but he didn't Like LeBron, you know what I'm saying? Like he'd adjust. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he definitely you know what I'm saying? They say, oh, he'd carry bad teams. They didn't make the playoffs the first 2 years, I don't think. You know, so he had to, you know what I'm saying, got his team better, whatever. But once they got in, you know what I'm saying, he made it happen. Don't you know what I'm saying? Like, but, you know, Kobe, you know what I'm saying? Like, he won with the same, damn near the same team that he was struggling with them whole 3 years before he got to the finals. All he did was get them to play better that third year, and he added one piece, Pau Gasol, and lost a piece in Andrew Bynum. So Paul Gasol was an integral piece because he could create plays. Andrew Bynum was more of a post player. That's it. Like, but Kobe was making it work with him. And Kwame Brown, they were making it work. And then they ended up trading Kwame Brown and went and got Pau Gasol, a guy that could stretch the floor. He can go on the post. He can go on the top of the key. He can pass. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can probably put the ball on the floor a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He can get his own shot. So that was the difference. You know what I'm saying? Then when he got Bynum back, they had an unstoppable force in the post, like, with Kobe. So we act like Kobe was just jacking shots. No, they, you know what I'm saying, dudes shared the ball, man. Kobe was the go-to guy, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got to the finals with just Pau Gasol. Look at the rest of the roster. So he can't carry a bad team. He was going up against the first round against the Suns. Like, what is he supposed to do? Like, he had no real help. Who was his help? You know what I'm saying? And then you put context to it. The East been weak. The East was weak since the 2000s started. You know what I'm saying? The East was strong in the 80s and 90s. The East had the better teams in the 80s. The West started in the 90s. The West had the better teams, but the East was still strong. You still had the Knicks, you had the Pacers, you had the Bulls. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had the Miami Heat, you had the Charlotte Hornets. Like, you had some teams out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the 2000s, the East was trash, man. What do you you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, the level of competition wasn't the same in the West than the West. So Kobe was going up against like championship contenders round one. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I you know what I mean? Like, but Kobe, from at least 2007, I would say, to 2011, was clearly the face of the league, because that's when he started to dominate the league, and he was the most popular player. Look at the All-Star voting. Look at what happened when they went overseas, the Redeem team, how they could go get him to. You just can't. I don't understand saying that, man. That's ridiculous take, man. You know what I'm saying? He was a way more skilled player in most everybody's eyes than Paul Pierce. Better defender, better scorer. You know, they only try to, you know, take away from Kobe's scoring because, oh, he shot a lot of bad shots, and you know, when you give a guy the ball with 5 on the shot clock, he's your go-to guy. What is he supposed to do? When he has no playmaker on the team, he didn't have a point guard. He didn't have a Rajon Rondo. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have a point guard out there that could create plays. He had to get his own shot. You know what I'm saying? On a bad team. He didn't have the physical attributes that LeBron had, where he could run down like a deer, get to the rim, jump out the gym. Like, Kobe could definitely jump. And he definitely was athletic. Just as athletic as almost as LeBron did with a dunk contest. But as far as the physical shit, like, you know, LeBron's able to, you know, attack the rim a little bit more force. absorb more. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? LeBron played the ball like a 6'9" point guard. Whereas Kobe was a more ISO player, man. So, you know what I'm saying? More perimeter player, like, but he could go on a block. He was way more talented. He could go on a block. He could dribble. You know what I'm saying? He could create separation. He had good footwork. He had a pull-up jumper. He could run off picks and shoot. He could slash to the rim. Like, he was a very versatile offensive player. I don't know what these dudes are talking about, man. He was the closest thing we ever going to see to Michael Jordan, man. So I don't understand, man. I don't get it, man. Anyway, I went on for about 40 minutes, man. You know, I feel like Kobe was the clear face of the league. There was no face of the league, really, you know, from, I would say, ever since Jordan left till about 2007. LeBron became more the face of the league. You know, they always was pushing him to that popularity, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially once he started making the playoffs. But you still had Kobe. That's when Kobe was at his peak. You know what I'm saying? So now I feel like LeBron from 2011 was and up was probably the face of the league. And then you had a time where Steph Curry almost took that from him, 2015, 2016. But clearly, I don't understand how you can't say Kobe wasn't the best player, wasn't the best player and the face of the league, at least from 2007 to 2011, that 4-year span. Nobody else was better than him. Even, you know what I'm saying, like, and then post Achilles, right? They tore the team apart after that. New coach, Gasol gone, Bynum gone, Bynum was already gone. Dwight Howard was only there for 1 year. Steve Nash was there for 40. So all those guys were gone. Then he missed a year. Then he came back and tore his shoulder up. He was already 34 when he tore his Achilles. You know what I'm saying? So he never really had the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? You can't ask a man at that age with a rebuilding team to carry a bad team in the playoffs. He carried that team with National to the playoffs and didn't even get to play a game in the playoffs because he left it all out there on the court. So to disrespect this man and went out there and shot the 2 free throws, walked off on his own power. These guys can't do that. So to disrespect his legacy and say, come on, man. Stop it, man. Stop disrespecting this man's legacy, man. Anyway, man, I'm going to get back at y'all later, man. Many Face Publishing. I'm out, man. Sorry for this rant, man. Peace.